Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game of the Max and part 7 of our Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich, the Russian Empire. So, in the last episode, we have started to do our integration of the Central Asian steppes down here after our war and our initial, or I shouldn't say our initial, but our takeover of Bukhara. They are no longer a client state. Everything is now directly under the Russian authority. Krill the first Emperor of Russians had passed away in the last episode. Now we have Vladimir the Third, who is his son. And we had started to finally be able to do Rally the People's Monarchists, which allows the social conservatives, authoritarian Democrats, and the paternal autocrats to start to, I think they form their own, they form, all three of them become part of the government. And then once you get further down, you do this one. Once you can do Imperial Decree on Protection, which we don't have enough left-wing anger yet, and we are at war with Germany, or only one of them has to be true. We do that, then we become, what is it? We become Authoritarian Democrat, and then down here with the Dictator of Conscience, we get to become Paternal Autocrat. So that's kind of how it's going to work out for us. I'm going to wait. I really want to do this one, so we need to do the Imperial Decree, but we're waiting right now to get up to 6 left-wing anger, and then we can do it. It is right here, but left-wing anger has to be at least 6, so we'll have to do that. And yeah, so I kind of had asked what you guys would like to see with me saving the nationalist military government down here. So I was just going to outright annex them with council commands, but I thought it'd be a lot funner. All I have done is I just loaded in as both countries, and I deleted some of their military. So still have to fight. We still have to win the war down here, but that's how I managed to do it. I didn't delete all of it, but I deleted some of it. So Spain, or the Spanish Socialist Republic, joins the Third International. Yeah, we figured that would happen. I will say something that has always made me kind of not mad, but it's something I've always wished that Hearts of Iron 4 would do, or the mod creators would to be allowed. Like, if you have a king, he should be allowed to lead the armies as a field marshal. Over here with the Spanish, their actual leader right here, this gentleman Dubaj, he is a unit leader. He can be in the Civil War and after, and I feel like that would really spice up some of how how the game would work, how it would feel. So. The Dutch East Indies defeated the Indo-Chinese or Indonesian revolt. So, not having much luck in Asia when it comes to knocking out these rebellions. So. My lord, that was very loud. Apologize. United States military administration took 14 states, and they have defeated the Americans' People government. So they defeated they've defeated Baton Rouge and Huey Long. Now it's the military administration against Mexico, because Mexico joined the war, and the American Constitutional Coalition, which looks to be at a loss right now. So we have been supporting these gentlemen here. We sent them weapons, so we just need to see that. It would be really sad if Mexico ended up winning. I'd be very disappointed. So, and then India did go to war last episode, so. The Nanjing nationalist government declared war on the Fengtang government. Awesome. Oh, right here, Nanjing, sorry. Not the nationalist military government under Zhu Pede, but these gentlemen here. We'll see what's going to happen with that. I'm not sure who's going to win. You're Southern Republican aligned. I don't think you're South Zuli, left Kuomintang. I don't know. I really don't know who's going to win. If the Feng Tang win here, probably them. The Second Northern Expedition. China's Civil War has reached a turning point as Nanjing's national government has officially declared war on the internationally recognized Feng Tang government. The last expedition occurred a decade ago with the aim to unify the country. However, this was not to be with the KMT gravely underestimating the German commitment to the region. With war now declared, the stage is set for a repeat of the previous expedition led by Chiang Kai-shek. But this time, Japan, not Germany, seems set to intervene. What this means for China is unknown. History repeats itself. I hope not, because we've lost. So the Chongqing Federalist government is proclaimed up here. Wondering if I can break through right here. Well, if they would support me, probably. But we'd probably have a better luck attacking the plains tile here than the hills tile there. Looks like initial success from Nanjing, so we'll keep our eyes close to that. Left-wing anger did not go up. France defeated the Wadi Empire. Not a lot of concern for us. War of the Basmachi goes on. What was left of the Turkestani rebels have regrouped in Turkestan Range in the Hindu Kush Mountains under the command of Junaid Khan. There are various other groups, some finding refuge from the Chinese side of the border in the Tenshin Mountains. From these friendly mountain bases, the rebels have been launching raids deep into our territory, attacking our military units and centers of administration. Their doomed fight continues to inspire men to join their cause, promising that one day Turkestan shall once more be free. And more blood shall flow. We lose 1% stability, and in all of the states in Central Asia, we gain 25% resistance, which is not great for us. We're trying to bring it down, but Egypt has declared war on the Ottomans. We need more support equipment. The Levant crisis, and the restoration of the Rashidi Emirate. The Great Syrian Revolt. This is the death throes of the Ottomans here. Oh, I was like, well, that's not my focus tree. Yes, because I clicked the Ottomans. Let's see. The Chinese frontier, no. Decision will enable a weakened the national establishment opposition. Left-wing anger changes. Nope, I need my left-wing anger to stay. So, let's see. Replaces State Economic Committee with the Duma of Industry and Labor, which we get production efficiency cap plus 10%, party popularity stability modifier plus 10%, but we lose daily political power gain minus 0.15. Alexander Kamenka stops being a political advisor, and Pavlo Bushkin stops being a political advisor. We enable the decision Patriotic Anti-Corruption Committee. We will be available when we can gain the national spirit, establish opposition. Okay. We can do mission to Tehran. The only reason why I have not declared war on Afghanistan yet is because I don't want the social conservatives to take power. Right now, that's what we are. So we need to switch over to Authoritarian Democrat, and then I would feel better because Afghanistan would become a republic. Actually, no, they won't. I am telling you the wrong. So let us do the last refuge of bandits. They might actually join us outright. I'm not sure. If they don't, we're going to destroy them. So let's do production efficiency for, truck mechanized, motorized artillery. Someone did tell me that this is no longer the meta, so I will need to switch this off. I actually had a better chance using the large cavalry division with them in. So German sanction hit the forestry sector again. What doesn't kill you make you stronger. So we gained that for another 140 days. It's pretty miserable. Jump across the river and try to save them. Rebellion in Yemen. They're gonna keep pinning us, yeah. Iceland joins the Entente. Let's see. Pay attention to my tanks, artillery. You. Even with the help I've given them, they're still not doing well. So. The Berzanji insurrection. Kurdistan declares war on the Ottomans. Good luck. Good luck to the Kurds. We could go up conscription level. Really, we kind of need a political advisor. We haven't done anything in our political. So, social conservatives are part. Yeah. I really want Dmitry Romanov for the consumer goods factor reduction, but I also need to start building up some military factories. Throughout here. I'm gonna need a lot of them. Let's see, this will gain base war support plus 5%, gain 46% or 46 political power, change popularity of authoritarian democracy by 7.5%, right-wing anger changes by 1. We can do that in 3 locations, but it costs us stability, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh man, that's very steep. Um, Let's get 2 naval dockyards. Military. Someone said let's do the dam. Where is that located at? Oh, right there. Let's see. So that's 9 stability hit right there. A lot of political power. It's a home with 150 political power. Let's see. 7, 15, 22.5 for authoritarian Democrat. I'm just going to click them. I'll just eat that stability loss. The Black Baron meets White Russian. It's no secret that Peter Wrangel has not been an admirer of Chairman Minister Ivan Solovenovich. Wrangel is a man of cold old school and arguably not even as hostile to democracy as Solovenovich has turned out to be. But after all the recent events, mass rallies by stab captains, mass arrests against the opposition, centralization of power around Solovenovich, the situation has started to be eerily similar to 1935. But instead of Savinkov, you have Solovenovich, and instead of Kornilov, you have Wrangel. Devoid of final clash, Wrangel met with Solovenovich in private and discussed the situation for hours. While Wrangel has called the minister an egotistic Belarusian potato farmer in private, he's always remained cordial in negotiations such as these. Peter Nikolaevich was direct. He took action when Savinkov had proven to be a liability to the Russian nation, and he would do it again if Solovenovich repeated those mistakes. However, Wrangel admitted he was not hostile to Solovenovich designs, only extremely skeptical of them, and viewed them as a sideshow, potentially weakening Russia when everything should be done to prepare for war. Likewise, Solovenovich saw that the war with Germany is a worthy fight, but instead that only a socially remade Russia could withstand the storm. It was clear that he was not happy to hear threats from his Minister of War, but for now nothing could be done. Ultimately, the choice and priority is Solovevich's, but clearly the army did not like delays. 2 great egos: orthodoxy, constitution, and people. The first tenet of the new Russian monarchy is, as always, orthodoxy, as the Tsar is the defender of the faith and the anointed one, the God-appointed protector of all Russian people. The faith and the Tsar share one purpose, that of the protection of Russian values and peace. The second tenet, instead of it failed autocracy, is the Constitution. The values of the February Revolution were already accepted by Grand Prince Kirill. Democracy, parliamentarism, and constitutionalism. The Tsar is blessed by God, but he governs with the consent of the Russian people, acting also as the protector of Russian democracy. The third tenet is nationality, or narodism. Russia's strength flows from its peasants, and the ancient Russian culture is what keeps the nation's various ethnic groups together. The shared folk culture of peasant Russia, briefly tainted by Savinkov, must also serve as the basis for the emperor, or the monarchy. Long live the emperor. Sorry, I read ahead a little bit, and it got me tongue-tied. So, let's see. My unit's forced out of that tile. Departure of Brother in Arms on 3rd January 1939 at 1:05 a.m. Chairman of the National Committee in Poland, Roman Dmowski, had passed away at 75 years old in Moscow. The father of national democracy and a longtime ally of Russia, Dmowski was given a state funeral attended by Vladimir III himself. A longtime deist, he wasn't given a church I think it was a long-time atheist. He wasn't given a church service. As Roman Dmowski was being buried at the Novodevichy Cemetery, his own government exile almost restored itself over the matters of Dmowski's legacy. In the end, the conflict between the old guard and the young guard was resolved by electing Adam Dubinsky, a recent exile, as a middle ground between them. Some say that in the final days, Dmowski, clouded by his recent stroke, seemed to go back to the old time of the 1890s. Once he got anxious about not getting any letters from his longtime rival, Joseph Pilduski, stating that the postal office must have made some mistakes while when he had written to him. However, he did not seem to understand that his rival passed away some time ago in 1935. The father died, but will his children manage without him? Change in popularity of national populism by 1%. So, let's do you. We'll knock out these few. And probably this one too. So boom, boom, boom. Get all these done over here. Let's do progress on the steps first, and then we'll jump over and do the mission to Tehran. And let's see. We can invade, or we can just offer them an alliance. What do I need? 10? I'm just going to offer them an alliance. They don't get a special focus tree if we take them over, and I'd rather have Mohammed Nadir Khan in charge. Let's see, invite Afghanistan. Would you like to join us? They have accepted. Afghanistan has recently agreed, or rightfully agreed, to join our alliance and has pledged to help us in our wars in exchange for protection. They should show the world that not only are we unwilling to work, or show the world that not all are unwilling to work with the Russian Baron. Afghanistan joins the Moscow Accords. Very nice. Well, then this army. Control Shift against the Socialist Republic of Iran. And I'm actually going to stop this one and do the Iran one, which is Tehran. You have finished. Let's do the flamethrower tanks. Let me jump back over here and see how we're doing. The Second Sino-Japanese War. Japanese interests have long been tied to Manchuria, with Tokyo providing military and economic aid to the ruling Fangtang clique in return for Zhao Zongling, its leader, promising to respect Japanese interests. Relations, however, was fraught with difficulty as Zolin attempted to keep the Japanese at arm's length. Now the Fangtang government's refusal to accommodate any further Japanese demand had led to a breakdown in relationships between the two countries. The Empire of Japan has vowed to remove Zhang Zuoling, declaring his current administration out of control, while the Fangtang government has officially adopted an anti-concessionist stance and promised to drive the Japanese from China once and for all. The fate of China is at stake. Now you have the Empire of Japan declaring war on the Fangtang government. We shall see what comes of that. And it does not look like my interventions down here by deleting their units have any effect. We've got an air project. Let's do radar. Let's do Igor Skorsky. And we'll do radar first off. Very nice. She already read radar. Construction. Another land doctor, or another land site, a nuclear site, and then civilian factories. So we can support his government against the Japanese, which I will probably send support just this way. They just get army experience gain and division organization. So the mission to Tehran, we're going to click on that real quick. And then the chairman ministers parliamentarism, national protection. Is that their government group? No. Who's the National Protection Group? You. No, I'm not going to support you because I'm fighting you. German ministers, paramilitary. The State Council Committee under cadet leadership has launched an inquiry into the action of the Stab Captains movement and its leader, Boris Solovyevich, brother of Ivan Solovyevich. While the organization is normally focused on organizing sports events and physical education with a patriotic shade, in practice, some parts of the movement function as if it were Solomonivich's own paramilitary. The people monarchists often clash with the socialists, and in some campuses have organized boycotts and protests against unpatriotic teachers or events. The Petrograd branch of the movement is especially militant and has been involved in fights almost weekly. The inquiry put forward by Councillor Nekrasov argued that it's not suitable for Solomonovich's own brother to lead this kind of movement, and that there are grounds to believe that people's monarchists were used for coercion in the electoral campaign. Ivan Solomonovich naturally denies these accusations and claimed that the movement is purely educational and recreational. Obstruct the inquiry before it causes any harm, or we can't make an omelet if you don't break some eggs. I'm just going to obstruct it. What are they going to do? You know? Let's do the Moscow Economic Council. We get a little bit more political power and a production efficiency cap, which is very nice. And I don't see anything about Iran. Is that not supposed to give me demands border correction? Okay, so we just haven't got the event yet. The Chernov Monument, the initiative to erect a monument for Viktor Mikhailovich Chernov came from a grassroots proposal signed by over 1 million people, but the ultimate details of the matter remain for us to arrange. The proposal argues that Chernov is the founding father and martyr of Russian democracy. A common saying in the essays is that without Viktor Chernov, there would be no Socialist Revolutionary Party at all, but it's also justifiable to say that without him, there would not have been a Russian Republic at all. The day of Chernov's assassination has come like a saint celebration with yearly commemorations, particularly in Tambov and the Black Earth Belt of southern Russia. To them, Chernov was someone who brought the plight of the forgotten of the rural masses into national politics, and ultimately turned it into a unique Russian ideology. Many are still bitter over Chernov's being barred from running in the 1926 presidential election due to mistrust from certain circles. Maybe Chernov's Russia would have been more equal and fair. Instead of giving it into despair, Chernov accepted he would never wield power in Kornilov's republic, but gave his life to defending it nonetheless. As fellow revolutionary Ila Fundaminsky said, Russia's liberty is born out of the blood of countless righteous martyrs who died for a better world. He deserves a statue in Moscow where he was murdered. He deserves one in his hometown, Petrograd, or I don't think there should be a statue. Let's just take the 3% stability. We will make a shrine in his hometown of Klavansky. I think that's a good in-between there. I need you to... Persia accepts the Iranian-Russian relations suffered during the past years in the magnificent city of Ashgabat remains a point of contention. The largest Russian city in the middle of Turkmen countryside is the endpoint of the Trans-Caspian Railway, ended up in Iranian control in 1929 as Kievan warlord General Khan took over the Trans-Caspian Oblast in the chaotic aftermath of the New Year's coup in Moscow. The major part of Russia, the city of Ashgabat or Ashgabat, and its Russian citizens were under Iranian protection ever since, but now we possess the region once again. Ashgabat becomes owned by us, and we enact a non-aggression pact with Iran. So we take over this little bit of territory right here, and we start to integrate it. And I will turn around and try to immediately break that non-aggression pact. 1940, so we gotta wait a year. Kurdistan capitulates. Get you some more in here. Review. The Germans demand compensation. No. We lose political power. Leave me alone, Russia. Or Germany. Iran declares war on the Ottomans. Let's see.
Готов? Выходим!
I don't know why we were attacking across a river like that, but whatever. The Feng Tang are absolutely being blitzed on all sides right now. The Gungjing, the Nanjing nationalists, and Japan. But Japan's not doing as well as I thought they would. Protests reached their peak. SVR aligned strikes and peasant marches have continued in the latest larger cities, there have been an even larger escalation in the form of illegal mass gatherings. The police have been breaking these up when possible, and in Petrograd in particular, the protests have been so widespread that the police have begun to use force and even call for help from the military police. In private, Vladimir III has considered abdication but has advised to remain. General Field Marshal Wrangel assured that the protests are largely the creation of a small group of agitators and are mostly based on empty fear and not an actual understanding of the modern Russian monarchy. Nonetheless, something must be done. State Council member Vasily Shulgin has proposed that the government enact a temporary decree to empower the cabinet and give them the necessary tools to maintain order. But this kind of act would seem very dictatorial, if also effective. We'd also answer some of the high demands of the protesters, promising to strengthen their political rights and quality of life. No step back, give them some concessions, or no step back, take control by any means necessary. We lose 40 political power. Gets the event Imperial decree on protection of the people of the state. Right wing anger goes down by 1. Change popularity of social conservatism minus 5%. The Imperial decree on protection of the people in the state. Chairman Minister Ivan Solovych's Imperial cabinet saw only one path of action to create a stable government with the uncooperative Duma. As advised by the Minister of War, Baron Wrangel, a decree has been devised and stretches the power of the government to their widest extent, freezing the Duma's ability to initiate a vote of no confidence, and greatly empowering the executive branch for the duration of a single year. Emperor Vladimir III's co-signature finally passed the decree into action. The protection decree was lauded as dictatorial, measured by many, but with its powers, dissent can be censored. Ivan Solovych explained in his speech to the State Council, broadcasted on radio to all of Russia, that the motherland was facing a period of great instability and turmoil, and much work was required to undo everything that Svobodniks had destroyed in their time in power. Thus, all Russian citizens are expected to obey authorities and be supportive towards the government's policies to build a new, better Russia. A small price to pay. We gain the Imperial Decree on Protection of the People in the State, which grants us political power gain plus 10% stability. Daily social conservatism support minus 0.02 for 730 days. We replace unstable democracy with weak democracy. Political power gain minus 2% and stability minus 2.5%, because we go from an unstable democracy to a weak democracy. Adds 90 days mission to activity of the Union to revive the Republic. So that's on 150 days. The Armenian uprising. So Armenia has declared war on the Ottomans. Good luck to them. Get you done. Let's see. Oh, we can finally do this one, which I will click on. The use of fear. With things looking as grim as they are, the prospect of using fear to prod the more moderate members of the opposition aside of this has been raised. Let's raise the specter of another civil war or of radicals taking control in the new elections. We will need to use the newspapers to do it, stoking instability throughout Russia, but it should have the effect we seek. We gain 4% war support, gain base stability minus 6, or no, we're better than this. We just lose 3% stability. I'll just lose the stability there. The war support, we're at 75%, so we're good on war support right now. But I'd hate to keep losing more and more, so we could do court foreign capital, because I have 45 power projection right now. Hold off just right this second. See how are we doing down here. We're holding. Do not believe that the Fang Tang government will hold. My belief will be is that they will. Yeah, this whole army down here is pocketed. They'll lose to Japan, and then Japan will declare war on the boys. The doctrine of the Tsar Redeemer. Since the 1920s, calls have been made to canonize Tsar Nikolai II. And his murdered family as holy martyrs. It was the cardinal sin of the entire Russian people to turn on their Tsar and slay him. Some have argued and demanded amends he be made by all of Russia. All this has given strength to the movement of the Tsar Redeemer, or heresy of the Imperial Redemption, as it's called by its critics, which seeks to put the late Tsar into a holy sacred position, even capable of redeeming sins. A commonly cited proof for this is the writing of the 18th century monk Abel, who had been claimed to have prophesied many important events in Russian history correctly. Of Nikolai II, he prophesies he will have the mind of Christ, long-suffering, and the purity of a dove. He will replace the royal crown with a crown of thorns. There will be war, a great war, a world war. Through the air, people like birds will fly underwater, like fish they will swim, and they will begin to exterminate each other with fetid gray. On the eve of victory, the royal throne will collapse, brother will rise against brother, the godless power will scour the Russian land. The idea of Nikolai II as almost Messiah-like figure, a sacrifice for Russia's many sins, has risen again and seems even more attractive to the faithful, seeking more meaning to the civil war. Less fervent proponents of the moment are merely calling for sainthood in the building of a new church in Yekaterinburg, where the Tsar and his family died, to become a site of pilgrimage for all of Russia's faithful. Support the canonization. We gained popularity of social conservatism 5%, left wing anger changes by 1. The merciless murdered so many, why would one man matter? Nope. Bring that anger up. We'll also gain 2 anger from the moment we do the decree. Argentina has joined the Reichspakt. The day of the Ice March. There are 2 commemorative days of this for the Civil War. The 31st of August, celebrating liberation of Moscow, and the 22nd of February, remember the state, or the start of the Cuban Ice March. The Day of Liberation is a happy celebration with upbeat military marching songs and grand displays of strength through Moscow. But the Day of the Ice March is a more melancholic, remembering sacrifice and hope. In the frosty February cold, a commemorative march is organized from Rostov to Novocherkassk, including the legendary colored regiments, the black and red Kornilovites, Drodonskits in their crimson caps, black-strapped Markovits, and Alekyevsits in white and blue. I'm sorry, I really struggle pronouncing those words. Those who took part in the original March of the Guest of Honors, both in Rostov and Novocherkassk. There was great crowds following the march, though it's not a jubilee but a solemn occasion. The official history of the Ice March, written by General Denkin, is often quoted on this day. As long as there is life, as long as there is strength, not everything is lost. Russia will see a light flickering faintly. She will hear a voice calling for the fight, those who have not yet woken up. There was a whole deep meaning of the first Kuban campaign. There is no point in approaching it with a cold argument of politics and strategy, as it is a phenomenon in which everything is the realm of spiritual and the feat being accomplished. The volunteer army walked across the free steppes of the dawn in Kuban, small in numbers, tattered, hunted, surrounded, as a symbol of persecuted Russia and Russian statehood. In the entire vast expanse of the country, there was only one place left where the tricolor national flag openly fluttered, and this was Kornilov's headquarters. We went from the dark night of spiritual slavery to unknown wandering in search of hope. Gain base war support plus 2%. Let's see. Don't need rifles just a second. Why are you so expensive? Trying to get some support equipment bought. The Volkonsky proposal, the table of ranks, one of the most important social elevators in the Russian Empire, did not die with the empire. The mechanisms that allowed commoners to become nobles for their service and merit through achievement through the government, or through advancement through the government or military career ladder, was one of the most progressive institutions in Russia at the time. This allowed people like Lenin, Kornilov, Gushkov, or Denkin to become nobles as a result of their ancestors' service. Restored in the new iteration after the February Revolution in the Russian Republic, the new table of governmental ranks served not as an instrument for ennoblement, but for interdepartmental relations and fair payment and pensions for government officials. One of the respected members of the VPP, former Imperial Duma's deputy chairman Vladimir Volkonsky, recently proposed reforming the table of ranks. According to his proposal, each rank in the system should give personal ennoblement to the government official with the form of address. Depending on the rank, personal ennoblement to the official's wife should maintain gender equality, and also give hereditary ennoblement to the highest ranks. The issue of pensions for nobles and the proposal was immediately rejected after the first hearing. The Duma was quickly divided in the issue. The left wing declared Volonsky had finally fallen under the influence of his former superior Protopopov, and mockingly suggests that he guaranteed the absence of minded listening devices in the offices of those above three class ranks. The majority of the Duma, although rejecting the idea of hereditary nobility, supported the idea of personal ennoblement of government officials starting from the sixth class rank and the establishment of an appropriate form of addressing to the government officials depending on the rank. After heated debates, the Duma decided to shoot down his or accept the limited variant. We change the popularity of social conservatism by 3%, but we lose 1 stability. Yeah, we'll accept the limited variant of it. Alright. A lot of reading today.
Так точно.
The only bad thing for these guys, one, they don't ever start. Oh, they have a lot of manpower. Is you can't support them. There's no, even if I say I want to send some rifles, right? We'll send them these rifles like this. Right? when I say send, it will tell you, oh, I can send it to him. No, never mind. I'm going to send them some rifles, and hopefully they can build more manpower.
Готов.
Moscow Economic Council has been established. Let's see. Let's do the plague of democraticism. We will gain political power plus 17%, stability plus 7.5%, party popularity stability modifier plus 10%, war support minus 5%. We will change popularity to authoritarian democracy 13.2%. Vladimir III gets guiding hands over politics. Political power gain plus 5%. Party popularity stability modifier plus 7.5%. Left wing anger changes by 2. Enables the citizen monarchist media monopoly. Okay, and we will change to authoritarian democrat. So it'll be well, we're the same party name. The fall of Shenyang. Despite desperate efforts of Shenyang's Fengtang defenders, the city fell today after a battle marked by days of fierce urban combat. So their capital, or their old capital, has fallen. The Irish Regency. Ooh, it's actually kind of good for us. The Insular regime in Ireland, having consolidated their control over the country after overthrowing former dictator Ewan O'Duffy in the uprising following months of internal factional conflicts, has now turned attention to restore an Irish monarchy, bringing to the end one of Europe's few non-syndicalist republics. In practice, little has changed. The government's head, Gerard O'Cunningham, has opted to establish himself as regent during the being unable to find a suitable claimant and the entrenched nature of republicanism in the land. O'Cunningham stated that the regency will continue until all remnants of the British Empire control the island, including the complete revival of Ireland's native language and culture, are undone and the ground is properly prepared. And who exactly is supposed to be the king? I wonder if I can invite them to join my faction. Hello, Ireland. Would you like to be part of Russia's? As they tell me no. I wonder if they can. Let's see. You are... Oh, so they didn't do the restoration. They did this one, the Regency. All European countries attack bonus against countries. So. Okay. Be cool if they would have actually become a monarchy, but the Nanjing nationalist government declared war on the National Protection Alliance. Okay, well, that does help us a little bit over here. Using some support equipment. Let's see. Control trade, no. Compliance, speed, and damage to garrison. That's what we need. The psychological warfare department. Navy. Submarines. Production, yes. Dude, you need to start building medium tanks. I really need to gain some political power, to be honest with you. Wow, the Protection Alliance actually pushed, so now we have the Chinese United Front being formed. Better anti-air. Socialist Republic in Greece has ended. The new Russian Empire rises. Moscow is buzzing. Great masses of people are chanting for the emperor on the Red Square, guided by men in uniforms of the staff captains. Great columns of Drozdovite soldiers in their parade uniforms are saluting the Emperor and his chairman minister as they appear in front of the great crowd. Emperor Vladimir seems almost like a side character next to Ivan Solovych's physical presence and charisma. The purpose of the rally is clear: to intimidate those who oppose Solonovich, to legitimize his controversial political reforms that are just now being debated in the State Duma. In Solovych's words, his reform would restore the Russian Empire to its former glory, where power and justice are back where they belong, in the hands of the people rather than lawyers and bankers. When the Republic ever delivered to the Russian people anarchy, chaos, and ultimately godless tyranny. Instead of endless Duma debates, it'll be the Emperor and his cabinet who will act without their hands tied. Instead of tolerating greedy and corrupt bureaucrats, they will be purged by the righteous. No Savinkov nor Lenin, but the Emperor of all Russias. Slovenich's opposition and the Duma naturally do not agree. Some even compare the situation to 1935, where a diminished group of Democrats are fighting a long defeat. Surely, Slovenich's regime does not pose a similar moral threat, but it's obvious that he has no interest in maintaining parliamentary democracy. The February Revolution and its consequences: we replace lukewarm imperial popularity with moderate imperial popularity. We gain 10% war support. So now we're at 86, which is really good. The Fang Tang and the Gunjing and their hostilities. Okay, so looks like to me you're formed in the Chinese United Front. You're in it. You're in it. You're not in it. Gunjing joined the Chinese United Front.
Я готов.
Nanjing Nationalists joined it. Changing click. I wonder if the nationalist military government will. Protection Alliance joined it. So you're the last one, brother. So you're not gonna join it? Let's do an artillery bonus there. Surprised the nationalist military government didn't join it. Usually everybody joins the United Front. There they go. No? Yeah, there, okay. Now everybody's in the Chinese United Front against the Empire of Japan. And for you, nuclear research speed. Yeah, we'll just do you at the top. Sweet. We could do them, but I'm not going to. Can we... Psychological warfare is done. Let's do this one against Japan, and then we have only one more for the current's influence. Unless that actually gets rid of it, because it might. The new rifles are researched. Equipment 2. See, we did this one. We're going to do this one now, though the team assigned limit cost is plus 200%. That production efficiency gain plus 10%, efficiency cap plus 5%, and production resources needed minus 10%. So very, very strong. Which you actually probably, you can do this one. It's a 1, 2, 3 if you ever wanted to, but you just get more benefits from these two combined. So why I do it that way, if you're ever curious. I need to start building a, let's see, let's get a really good light tank built. Small cannon, improved radio, sloped armor. Let's see. Armor skirts and wet ammunition storage. Your max speed. Let's actually do reliability as well. Gas is fine. Engine. What do we got here? Probably not the TSTZ. Your armor, entrenchment. There's just reliability. I'm kind of confused by this one. Production output, improved. Will double the effect received from resettable trait, increased material recycling. So, okay, you can re-up really fast. Let's just do the heavy. See, knock you down to 7 speed, but you'll get 10 more armor. Or make you more reliable. We'll just make you more reliable. And at that point, we really don't need this. We could do... defense and breakthrough. Yeah. Alright. Then production. I want that to start being produced. The BT-7U is our new one. Awesome. I think that was an okay tank. At least for what we're doing, it was an okay tank. Our finest hour. Our volunteers come back. Drop over into here. I also do need to make some units of you. The you have 6, so I just need 8. That's 8. Perfect. Our finest hour. British politician and former Lord of the Admiralty Winston Churchill has published a new book, part of an emerging genre known as alternate history and concerning the Great War. The story takes from the perspective of a young British soldier returning from a victorious Gallipoli campaign amid a world radically different from our own. In this timeline, Theodore Roosevelt and his Bull Moose Party win the 1912 American presidential elections, leading to an American entry in the Weltkrieg and an Entente victory. A defeatedly and partially occupied Germany is gripped by constant economic and political crises. Witnessed the defeat of the Whites in the Russian Civil War and is cooed by a bitter and extremely nationalist Admiral Dressler. He leads the German Workers' Party, who follow the ideology of people's socialism, an extreme version of national populism. The novel ends with the beginning of a 3-sided war between Dressler's New Reich, the rest of Entente led by the dominant British Empire, and a Soviet Russia led by Sergei Kirov. The book's divided critics, with some praising its attention to detail, while others criticize it for the large flaws in the historical logic. Churchill has commented that something like this could have happened in another universe. What a childish fantasy! And the conservative rule program. In one thing, both Viktor Chernoff and Boris Savinkov are right, that the ideal Russia is the pre-Petrine, pre-serfdom Russia, a time when peasants lived in obshinas, the common land villages, self-managed their affairs among local traditions. Obviously, Chernoff confiscated this with the idiocy of communism, and Savinkov was only perversely idolizing the peasantry while not really knowing anything about it. But Solovenovich is from a small cottage in the poorest Belarus. He knows the plight of the rural people. The rural program of the Solovenovich administration has been essentially copied from the SRs. It defines the core of Russian living as a free man with his own property, his own farm or tools, having control over his own labor. In practice, this means financial support for small businesses and small medium-sized farms, a common SR policy in the 1920s. Any remaining cooperative farms are encouraged to transition into private farms, and loans for funding new farms are made easily available, akin to Savinkov's own land reforms. These policies have come under fire, especially from major industrialists who view this as merely vote buying and populism, but they do not understand the core of people's monarchy. The monarchy needs the people. It does not exist only through the elites. What do these Moscow elite know of true Russian living? Better than godless urbanism? I think it's funny that when they were talking about how Peter Vrangel thinks of Slonovich, he's just like, yeah, he's a potato farmer from Belarus. A poor potato farmer from Belarus. See, hardness for less reliability or more reliability. We can always knock out that. The hardness is good. We'll do that. Plague of democratism. It's a very odd word. We can also do the plight of the elitisms. Streamline the autonomies is probably really good for us. Disables the creation of several post-war autonomies. Focus strengthens the third constitution. We gain some stability. We gain more stability and more political power. lose compliance. We can reform the Kazakh coasts. Reform Ashgab. Lose some resistance. Let's see, the Will to Victory, cavalry unit, heavy tanks. Supply usage less. Military factories. We'll do the infantry equipment, production and support equipment, and then do the light tanks, mechanized armor cheaper. I do want to look while we're sitting here talking, letting the game play through. Okay, sorry about that. The game did crash when I clicked on the United States for what, I don't know. For whatever reason, it just decided that it wanted to crash there on us. The United States is winning. The United States Military Administration is winning. So when we're able to, we can do the restoration of the AMTORG, which gives us a bunch of dockyards, which is very nice. Also, we have not finished the Plague of Democratism yet, so what we're going to do is we're going to let the game play on to when we can get to it, and then that's everybody ending their relation there. So I am going to build up my, let's say, 8 units I need here. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure why my game crashed, but it happens sometimes. You're actually better than he is. And it didn't, of course, it never saved my progress, so psychological warfare is done. If anything pops up for me to read, I will not, I'm not going to read them for this, because I feel like there's not much reason for me to, since I had already read it. We'll do the energy talker, autocracy law, autocracy. Those are my new rifles. I think this was before I built that new tank. How much does that cost me a day now? 10. Negative 0.10. Okay. Yeah, very sorry about the crash. I most definitely wasn't expecting it, of course, but Hearts of Iron 4 loves to crash sometimes. So there's the conservative rule program. We read that a little bit earlier. I'm just going to skip through these. Our finest hour. Our forces have returned.
До приказа.
And the plague of democratic-ism is done. I think we had done the plagues of elitism. Or no, I'm sorry, we came down here for the cheaper political, or the cheaper production costs for support and infantry equipment. Actually, I'm going to do this one, the progress on the steppes and the Chinese frontier. We'll click through both of those. And then hardness versus reliability. Alright, now everything that pops up, I'll read and all that good stuff. Again, sorry about the crash. It does happen quite a bit in Hearts of Iron, so figured it would at some point. Just glad it wasn't during a monumentous attack. So, on the nature of the Kurt von Schleichler regime, funded by the 5th Department of the General Chief of Staff of the War Ministry and written by General Peter Glesnup, a new report has been released. It's aimed to educate the Duma on the long-term goals and plans of the Kurt von Schleichler Chancellorship and make recommendations based on those findings. Even for the hated Germans, the intelligence of the Schleichler regime paints a potentially grim and shocking future. One key aim is well known by both Germany and Russia: the creation of the Wehrstaat, or military state, that will be adequately prepared the Heer for war. This is to be carried out by the latest by the 1941, when it's expected that the Germans would be able to significantly outnumber and outproduce their enemies on the European continent. Most worrying are their eastern plans. On top secret goals of theirs is to aim to subjugate their eastern client states further and expand the Wehrstaat. That will be done with no regards to the civilian population of those states. Furthermore, assuming any form of noncompliance from Ukraine, Belarus, and Poland in particular, the overthrow of their government is to be assured, and a German commissarial regime will be heavily considered. If there was any pacifist sentiment in the Russian political scene left. The publishing of these findings had thoroughly destroyed it. Russian mission is now clear to save Eastern Europe from German militarization and colonialization and to challenge the Herr's arrogance and disdain for peace. With better evidence is there the Prussian militarism is the scorn, or what better evidence is there that Prussian militarism is the scorn of the world? Well, if me and the socialists have anything to say about it, we won't let it happen. And then once the socialists do it, when we do beat Germany, we're gonna beat the socialists up. It's perfect around the around the world beaten. So we do gain pretty good political power from what is party popularity in the coalitions. We actually get more from our coalitions than we do from our actual party. So that is because there's 33 there. Oh, never mind. We now are mostly authoritarian Democrat with the what are they called? The SVR. We can destroy the SVR, which removes the activity of the union. The SVR is who? I don't remember who they are, but we will click on that. Boris Silvorian gains chief editor, which political power gain plus 5%, defense in war or defensive war penalty stability modifier plus 10%, and change in popularity of authoritarian democracy 5%. We'll gain that little bit of stability in favor of losing some political power. I'm okay with that. Let's do you, these two. The Far Eastern fishing industry for 1 naval dockyard, 50 convoys, 2 civilian factories, and then we'll have to save up. Europa enacts tariff on all Russian goods. In their imprudence, Germany has enacted a tariff wall against Russian goods. This will certainly hurt our exports for some time. And we can either get left-wing anger and right-wing anger changes by +1, or we can try to shield the people, lose 35 political power. I'm going to lose that. And their middle of Europa lasts for longer, which is right there. 10% consumer goods, minus 10% stability, and minus 20% resources to market. Which really the resources to market kind of help you and kind of hurt you. It helps you in the fact that you get to keep more in your actual market, so... do better passive defense, because I know the Russian, all of the Reichspakt love to get in on business here. So the Russo-German trade war disrupts our economy. With Russia and Germany enacting tariffs against each other and trying to strangle each other out of the market, our economy has suffered as the result. Even though we would prefer to remain neutral, the large-scale economic disruption is impossible to avoid as numerous companies are tied to German or Russian markets. We get collateral, the Russo-German trade war, which grants consumer goods factor plus 4% and stability minus 5% for 120 days. Which is not great for us, but that's what it is. Let's see. Do improved fire control systems. I think we're not doing bad right now. With the help of taking Afghanistan, I think we're doing pretty well. The Princely Federation is doing relatively well down here. We gained 1 core, 2 core, 3 states are now fully cored in that area, which is good for us. We can do this one, and let me see, I don't remember which. Gaganda, Sergei, there's cores. Semereche, that's a core now. These are not cores, so we're still waiting on these territories here, but they're ever so slightly going up that way, so yeah, we're still waiting. But again, we're not doing bad when it comes to all of that, and we can assist with an additional spy down here, rooting out resistance, helping build compliance gain faster with this. So all in all, not too bad. I think we're doing pretty well. We are on the path of doing our people's monarchy. Probably will do this one. I know we have to do this one, but we'll have to choose. I'm probably going to either do streamline the autonomies. We could do towards a unitarian state, which I think would make a lot more sense for the the People's Monarchy. I think, but if you guys would like to let me know down in the comments what you think, I would love to hear your thoughts. I can try to save up to get the stability up. We should be at 50% stability next episode, but we could do that. I usually do streamline the autonomies, but if you guys would like to see me do the towards the Unitarian state, I can as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed episode 7, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.